So let's talk about the playoffs and how they progress. Today we have the other Timberwolves game, which I was talking about yesterday, and honestly, the Timberwolves game is pretty fire, right? Like today we get to see the Timberwolves go against the Nuggets. I'm gonna probably be tuning in for that game. But if we're being 1,000% honest, the games that play today are the most important of the playoffs so far, because in the Pacers, Knicks, and Timberwolves Nuggets, there are two 2-0 leads. And honestly, those two 2-0 leads, were a team is so far ahead. If the teams take a 3-0 lead, then that changes the course of an entire series. Because if we know historically that no team has ever come back from down 3-0, and there's been a lot of teams which have gone down, then I think it's safe to say that no team is gonna come back from that, or at least not anytime soon. And it's not gonna be a normal player to come back from a 3-0. It has to be like a GOAT or something, like what LeBron did in the finals. But when we talk about these matchups, there's a few things that we have to take into consideration. First, with the Pacers Knicks, Tyrese Haliburton is the biggest piece in this game. We do not care about anyone else not named Tyrese Haliburton. Because look, Jalen Brunson and the Knicks play much worse when they're on the road. They're not bad, but they don't play up to the standard of when they're in front of their home fam. So if the Pacers can take advantage of that, because then that could be a series altering, change. The Knicks, obviously with the second seed, have gone to face the Pacers in their home twice now, and that has made them have an advantage, as both the Pacers and the Knicks are very home reliant teams, and they both basically play their own style of basketball, and they're kind of opposites in that weird way. The Knicks run like a six-man rotation. It's all defense, it's all effort, it's all consistency, but they focus more on defending the players and then just making up the offense with however it goes, because they'll have Jalen Brunson, which is their main offensive guy. The rest of the team is mostly defensive oriented. They'll have Josh Hart give them some points sometimes, but they don't have like one guy, right? Not named Jalen Brunson to help out in scoring. So really, when the Knicks score, it's more, and when the Knicks score a lot of points to beat opponents, it's more of like a group effort because of the way that they approach basketball and the way that they carry themselves as a team. With that being said, I did want to say that in terms of the Pacers, they play the complete opposite style. They're all offense. They have like six different offensive pieces, which are good, solid offensive pieces, and their defense is kind of there. They have Pascal, they have Miles Turner, but honestly, they do not have like a real guy on defense to go to, not named Miles Turner, right? To really look for some consistent defense. TJ McConnell has been the spark for them, being a great guard who puts in a lot of effort. But in my opinion, it is going to take more than just TJ McConnell to stop the Knicks guard rotation, and we've seen that evidence this round. I don't think the Knicks are going to the finals, if I'm being 1,000% honest. I feel like the East is honestly pretty dangerous. And whoever I think wins the Celtics-Cavs series, now that they're tied at one apiece, is probably going to be the person who heads to the finals. I think that the Knicks are great. Seeing them in the finals is probably something that the NBA is gonna try to make happen, because they are, the biggest team in the NBA. They're in New York, and the Knicks are obviously the biggest franchise in the NBA, not named, probably the Lakers or the Celtics. So when it comes to like sales and the Knicks and MSG and having that in the finals, it's honestly something that would be great for the NBA, and they would probably want to make that happen, as much as they would want anything else to happen, especially when it comes to their. Now, moving on from the Knicks and Pacers series, the Minnesota series is really, I think, the most important series in the playoffs. I don't know how Minnesota is going to play in the Western Conference Finals and in the finals, because I truly believe that there is a factor of experience which comes into every team. It doesn't matter how well you're coached, how good you are. I do think that we've seen it consistently where it's like the best team might not win just because they're less experienced than somebody else. And that, I think, is something that has a lot to do with the fact that there is a big correlation between experience and winning in the playoffs, especially when you're deep. So when it comes to the Timberwolves, I'm honestly scared about how their future is going to go. Look, I do believe that they're going to beat the Nuggets in this series. Taking both of the Nuggets games at home, in the Nuggets home, and then now having 2 home games and 1 more at the end of the series is something that is not easily replicated. Like, it's not just something that you can't consider in terms of one of the greater advantages. Like, home court advantage is a real thing, and stealing that from a team 2 times in a row is something and that should not be overlooked, especially when in one of the matchups you didn't have the player who was supposed to stop the other team's best player. By that I mean Rudy Gobert, which was not there because obviously his child was being born, and I understand him in that matter. Like, you will have a lot more playoff games. You will not have more, like, it's that child being born, seeing that is much more important than any NBA playoff game could ever be. And I feel like the people who don't understand that, I've seen some people going against it, but it's like, look, the love of the game is something, but the birth of your child is something that's gonna shape you forever, right? Like, yes, the Wolves could have lost that game. It could have looked like a bad decision, but the fact that you were able to really, have the humility, and as much as I don't like Rudy Gobert as a person, because I do think he is kind of intense and kind of a bad person at times, I do believe that he does have, the right approach in this situation. He is a good player. He's a great, rim protector. He's a great defensive player. He won Defensive Player of the Year for the 4th time. So I do believe that he does deserve the lenience to be able to miss 1 game of the year with the birth of his child. And I think that people who made a big, fuzz about that are wrong. But anyway, being able to win by 20, I think it was 6 points, in the day where you don't have the primary defender for the other team's best player, shows something that is much just deeper than basketball. And that is that the Timberwolves are ready for the Nuggets, however they come. They've obviously shut down Jamal Murray, because if we're being honest, the biggest reason why Jamal Murray turns into prime Michael Jordan when he's going against the Lakers is because the Lakers' defensive guards are trash, and they are pretty trash, like, defensively. Obviously, D'Lo is great at shooting. Austin Reeves is great at shooting, but they have no real perimeter defenders which have length, size, strength, and can actually guard at the same time. And I'm talking about the Lakers. With the Timberwolves, they have too many of those guys. Anthony Edwards, obviously. You have Mike Conley, great point guard defender. You have, obviously, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels. And on top of that, you have a guy like Naz Reid, which could switch onto the, perimeter on a pick and roll and could actually cause some damage. So when you have that type of situation, I do believe that if the Timberwolves can win today, then they're probably set to win either the championship or get to the finals 100%.